Hello, everyone, and welcome to the third week of the 21 Days Challenge in Self-Compassion. And we're in the third week, which is my favorite week, which is Common Humanity. As usual, I'm here, Sue, and I have got the wonderful Leanne here as well from Live Life and Wellness. And we just wanted to talk about common humanity. And what does that mean? It means that remembering that you're not alone. But what does that mean? So I guess this whole week really is about going, who's around me? Who's got my back? Who do I work? Like, who in my family might have my back? Because
Mm, mm.
sometimes in some members of our family, Leanne, I don't know, you might agree, disagree with me, but there's some
Yep.
members of our family that don't have our back
Yeah.
and do
Yep.
not have our best intentions. And then there's other family members who, of course, do. It's the yin and the yang of families.
Yep.
And then, but at work as well, I guess it's the same thing, isn't it? We've got some people who really have our back at work all the time.
Mm.
And or is it sometimes when we get a bit stressed at work, we kind of feel alone and then we don't notice the people around us as well. So then that can feel really lonely, which sort of lowers our self-compassion and that sense of well-being, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. So I guess what I want us to think about in this week is going, hey, who's your people? And how do you accept support and how do you, yeah, ask, let people in to help you because sometimes we're not doing that well. Is that,
Mm. Mm.
is that what
Mm.
you're thinking, Leanne, when you're thinking about this week?
Yeah, definitely. It kind of takes me back to when I was a graduate teacher and I was afraid of asking for help because I didn't want to be seen as incompetent. So, quite often, our reasons for not seeking out assistance is because we're actually afraid that others are going to think we're stupid or we're silly, or,
Oh,
if I ask this question, is this something that I should already know? Was quite often the thought process. And it
yep.
also makes me think about how we talk about, it takes a village, to raise
Oh,
a child, but then we forget about who's in our village.
yep. Great
Mm,
terminal. I love that sort of metaphor. It's just perfect. It's well, who's my tribe, you know?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
And when do I lean on them? When do I need them? And I always ask this question, and do people know that they are your tribe?
Mm,
You know how sometimes we have these people in our life who are just amazing, and that we're not related to them, they're just people in our life.
mm,
But
mm.
have we ever sort of at sometimes said, thank you. I love that I have you in my life because I sometimes wouldn't be you. I wouldn't be me if I didn't have you helping me.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Quite
Yeah.
often we don't openly express that gratitude.
No,
Yeah.
and I think it's so valuable because when we do that, we're acknowledging, we are normalizing that we should actually call out the great people,
Mm,
by that sort of action. But we're also giving that person probably a beautiful feeling
mm,
for a couple of days
mm.
for
Yeah,
free,
yeah, definitely.
you know? Because how beautiful does it feel knowing that you've helped someone, yeah, when
Yes, help someone through a tough time, or you were just there to listen.
it's
Um,
just by your very nature, you're just helping this person and you didn't probably value how
mm.
much you helped them until they said it to you.
Yeah, I must say that some of the closest people in my life are actually my work colleagues. I'm being fortunate enough to be at the school that I'm at for 20 years now.
Great.
And one of the things that quite often I have a colleague who's now become a trusted friend. where we'll just say, hey, I just need to vent. And
Yep.
so I don't need to fix it for her, and she doesn't need to fix it for me, but we kind of just need to get it off our chest, and then we laugh about it, and then it's done.
Yep. It's your
And
safe space.
it's exactly right.
Yep.
And quite often, I was reading Kristen Neff's workbook on self compassion before we came on, Sue, and she was talking about the stress response of, fight,
Oh,
flight, and how that quite often those who tend to, in the face of stress, flight, the area of self compassion that they really
oh,
need to look at is actually finding their tribe. So people will naturally self isolate, but it's really about going, hey, I'm at a stressful
oh,
point
yep.
where I don't, want to be around anyone, but actually that's not going to help me.
Exactly. That's the tipping point where
Yeah.
when I've isolated myself,
Yes.
that's my red flag to go, something's really wrong now because I've isolated myself.
Exactly.
Exactly, isn't it? I love those reaction sort of templates where you've got, do you fight, flight, fawn, or freeze? Like
Freeze.
that is
Yeah.
one of my, I've got one in Zest again that I use a lot in workshops because I am actually trying to support people to create awareness of which one is their default of,
Mm.
in some people, like when they get really stressed, they might be a fighter and a yeller, like
Mm.
that. They just go and they
Yeah.
react out on everyone in their circle, right? And it's just like, and so, but that has a consequence, doesn't it? Because
Mm.
people get a bit scared of them then, and then everybody walks around on eggshells around them for a bit, which inadvertently isolates them as well, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, and then they feel more alone, but they're also got the remorse of they know they reacted and they need to talk about it, but then they can't talk about
Mm.
it because everyone seems so far away.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
but this is a beautiful thing about reactions. Guess what? We all do them because we're human,
Yeah, exactly.
but it's about knowing your tipping points of when you're going to head over to reaction station and do whatever you do, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And then just doing the opposite and offering yourself some self-kindness
Yeah,
or off,
exactly.
offering yourself a walk or, reaching out, like you mentioned, Leanne, talking to the friend and going, I've got to tell you this. This is
Yeah.
just doing my head in. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, now I feel better. Thank you for that. I can go. But
Exactly.
it's noticing your tipping points and
Yeah.
then managing them with this common humanity theme, I guess, isn't it? It's that, who's in my tribe, who I can lean on right now to get me through this.
Mm.
I love
And
it.
I really notice it when I go to end of year conferences and I get the opportunity to be in the same room with other teachers who are teaching the same subject, and just hearing their thoughts about some of the challenges that are going on for them in their schools and some of the
Yep.
challenges of teaching the subject. And then I realized, wow, we've all got the same kind of issues. So
Yeah.
that also can be warming, I guess, too. But at the same time, it can be equally warming just to be in a space of
Oh,
like-minded people,
yep.
um, who've got your back.
Oh, and that's a collective resilience that common
Yeah.
humanity is well known for.
Mm,
But it does take all the tribe members,
mm,
they have to stop and notice it and
mm.
go, wow, I didn't appreciate how much we had together.
Yeah, exactly.
When we
Yeah.
work together, we have this amazing capacity, which I probably don't notice enough.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Do we actually notice how a staff morale is a big thing in school?
Oh, It's
And
vital.
yeah, and so, you know, as school leaders, you really do need to be watching that staff morale. Like, one of the schools that I first taught at was out in the northwestern part of Melbourne. And one thing I noticed when I got there was the collective unity of the staff.
Yep.
There was some challenging students, but there was always this amazing energy in morning briefings. Um, it was fun. It was
Yep.
fun to work there. And I guess we need to be, as leaders, really mindful when we're watching that staff morale dip and we're starting to see staff kind of disperse into pockets, absenteeism,
Yep.
all of that.
And we will see pockets of that reactive behavior as well.
Mm,
We will
mm,
see the fight, the flight, the freeze, and the fawn. We
mm,
will see little episodes of that all over the place. And
mm.
we'll hear it because we'll hear what so and so did and what that did, because the gossip stream does flow well when there is distress.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And it's about noticing it and actually going, hey, how is everyone going? I've been hearing that there might be some things going on which isn't what you'd want.
Mm, mm,
Let's talk about that,
mm.
but it takes a lot of courage to do that.
Definitely.
And when you're really tired, do you have courage?
Mm.
I don't know that you do. I don't, I think
I guess,
when I've been really tired, my courage does leave me a bit.
yeah, definitely. I'm
Yeah.
normally a bit of a fighter, but when I'm tired, I'll just, yeah, let it go. Because I don't have the energy. But I do think about, we see this in our students. So we see this in our students, for example, when they meet other kids who have got ADHD or autism, just how uplifting it is for them to go, hey, you know, I'm not this strange person because I've got these sensory needs. Um, and I think a big part of common humanity is actually knowing that we're not all perfect
Oh
either.
gosh. No, none of us actually are.
Yeah. And
No.
so it's okay to sometimes stuff it up and
Oh,
just and I think the most courageous school principals and leaders that I've worked with are those that have said, actually, I've made a wrong decision here. I've
yeah.
yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I had a conversation once where I pointed out to one of my leaders how I felt about a process and the way that process was acted out. And one of the most powerful things that came back to me was, yep, you're right. I didn't do that as well as I could have.
Yeah.
Um, and then we were able to move on and come up with a solution.
Yes.
So I think
Because it
it's
had become a collective responsibility at that point then.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got to know. I guess you're right. It's about that knowing that tipping point, but knowing, am I, this is being in a unified teaching space is so important for our own mental health, but also for the kids, for the students.
Oh,
And so
100%.
knowing what's my role in that. Like I
Yeah.
have a role to make sure that my colleagues feel safe and supported in this.
Yep.
Mm,
Exactly right. So I think because when we feel safe together, or instead of having those discussions in my head where I'm
mm,
going, oh, look, surely the principal can see this. Surely, the leader can see this. Like,
mm.
come on. It's like red paint on a fence,
Yeah,
come on. It's obvious.
yeah,
And but sometimes it is, we need to step up and actually have a conversation because they may not be seeing it.
yeah, exactly.
And so, we have to speak up and we have to use our voice.
Mm.
but I guess it is that, do I feel safe to do that in the space that I'm in?
Mm.
Ah, you can see how people get stuck, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. And I think one thing you did say once when we were talking about compassion fatigue and burnout and things is acknowledging that, which is part of the common humanity, we're not all perfect, and that
Mm.
our leaders too are going to get
Oh,
tired and frustrated, and they're going to make mistakes too. Um,
yep.
yeah,
So
quite
yeah, so
often,
it's really important we understand that they're human too.
exactly,
Yeah. And so in that common humanity piece is then how do we, have compassion for them,
exactly. Yeah,
because they too are suffering.
yeah,
So, how do we extend that olive branch instead of having that judgment space of going, well, they should know better, you know?
exactly. They're getting
And
paid the big bucks.
yes, which of course nobody in the helping services ever gets paid big
No,
bucks. Let's be clear.
yeah,
Let us be clear.
yeah,
In the helping services of teaching and health.
yeah.
Nobody's getting paid big bucks because we
Mm.
work in the helper industries, which are very underpaid.
Yeah.
Let's leave it at that. So we have to work really hard at nurturing ourselves because we do suffer a lot of stress in our work because we genuinely care about it a
Mm,
lot.
mm. Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
And that does create a lot of stress because we are deeply passionate about supporting people and growing people and caring for people and all of those things.
Mm.
And we get lost in it sometimes, and then we don't look after ourselves or care for ourselves
Exactly.
well. And this is why this sort of stuff with these 21-day challenges is so important because we're trying to get that little bit of a glimmer of
Mm,
perspective shift to go, yeah, you know what? I don't lean on people enough around me. I'm
exactly.
too busy trying to soldier through and do it all on my
Yeah.
own
Yep.
because that's my pattern of habit I've had my whole
Mm,
life.
mm.
But you know what? I need people. I am not an island and I really got to get my tribe here.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it is about that's why these 21-day challenges are really important. And as you're coming, I guess, as we're sort of finishing up for this challenge, because I think we're on day 18 or 19 now. Um, how has this challenge helped you to sort of notice those three components that Kristen Neff talks about, where, week one we were in mindfulness and week two we were in that self-kindness, and now we're here in common humanity. Has looking at those three pieces really helped you to realize I need to cut myself some slack,
Mm, mm,
you
mm,
know? And if I do that a little bit more, actually the world feels a bit easier, you
exactly.
know? And I'd really love to hear because if you did the pre-tool at the beginning to measure your self-compassion, I really hope you engage in the post one and
Yep.
just see what is the difference for you. And if you had a result that was great, could you share it with us? Because we'd love to hear your
Definitely.
story,
Yes.
wouldn't we, Leanne? Like
Absolutely.
we're story junkies. Like we
Yeah.
just laugh the good and
And
the
we're
bad.
part of your tribe. So we want to be able to
Yes.
celebrate it with you.
Oh, definitely.
Mm.
I've got a team who are doing this one and they're coming to the end. And they said to me, having these daily prompts pop up when they're turning up to work every morning has actually changed the conversation flow in the morning because
Great.
they're sort of turning up going, okay, today's about accepting help and support. All right. How are we
Yeah,
helping
great.
each other today and how are we supporting each other today? And so they made a big joke about it and they made it all very funny. But they said they actually were a bit more, they've actually been a bit more mindful about helping each other and supporting
Fantastic.
each other and not judging it. So if someone says, hey, like this looks like a lot, you got a lot going on today. Can I help you? They
Mm.
didn't see it as a judgment. They just saw it as, oh, this is my colleague who genuinely has offered help because they want to help.
Yep.
I'm going to accept it.
Great.
and they said it's actually been a little bit different, and they're sort of seeing a little bit more, what we talked about probably in, I think, a day or two ago, that collective resilience. We actually realized we have a lot more power than we thought we had.
Definitely.
So, that was lovely for them to share that with us,
Mm,
because that shows us that, yeah, maybe we just need to bring this into our attention sometimes. That's all.
definitely.
It's not like something we have to study and work really hard at. It's
Mm,
just the perspective shift. Okay.
mm,
See life through a different lens for the day,
mm.
you know? So please do your post self-compassion tool, because then we can learn more from you. And that's why we
Definitely.
create these opportunities, isn't it, Leanne? Because we want to learn from everyone, don't we?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
And to also let you know that we do have an empathy challenge starting on the 1st
Mm,
of May. So if you think this was all right and you think, hey, empathy is something that's a bit of a struggle,
mm,
or I don't really understand it even,
It's a
do
good
the
one.
do the 21-day challenge starting on the 1st of
Yeah,
May. We always start on the 1st of a month. Every second month, we offer a new challenge. But the reason we're doing this, and remember, it's always free, but the reason we're doing it is it's because we're learning. We're learning from you what it is that helps you at work and just gets you a perspective shift to feel just a bit different.
mm,
That's it. I
great.
don't think we don't do it for any other reason, is there, Leanne? I mean, like
No.
we just like helping people, but what else? Nothing else really. I can't think of anything else. I guess because at the end of the day, we've all been out there. We've been working in the hospitals and we've been working in the classrooms and we've been working in all these
Definitely.
places. And we know it's hard,
Yeah,
but we know there is some things that we can do to make it feel lighter.
exactly. And so that we stay in the profession, and we've got
Oh,
more teachers saying that they can see themselves still in teaching in the next 5 years. So
so we can throw massive retirement parties and have fun. I'd actually like to go to a few more retirement parties, frankly,
yeah,
instead of seeing
exactly.
people leave before their time because they're just too
Exactly.
exhausted to stay.
Yeah, exactly. Mm.
Yeah, so let's celebrate. Let's have more retirement parties. All right. Well, thank you as always, Leanne, for joining
Thank you.
joining us on this challenge. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you for the empathy one coming up, because we will have a model for healthcare workers. We will have a model for teachers, and potentially we're going to have a model for people in police workforce.
Mm,
So we're adding another group because we get asked to. So there you go.
great.
So yeah, thanks everyone. Hope you found this helpful. And if you did, let us know. And if you did, can you share it with other people so they might want to join us for the next challenge?
Definitely.
Let's get whole teams on board. Why not? It's easy.
Absolutely.
It's an easy
Join.
wellness initiative to integrate into your workplace.
Absolutely.
There should be more of it. All right, everyone. Have a fabulous day.
Thanks.